Do you remember still your childhood? For me, it was such an easy time. It was such a happy time, a fulfilling time. And it was such a meaningful time. I can remember when I was maybe, 7. I would just hang out with my friends, go outside. We would go into a forest near our village, and we would just play for hours in there. We would play hide and seek. We would play a game where there was a wooden stick in the ground, and there was one in the middle, and he was counting, and everyone was hiding, and the goal was to kick this wooden spear or this wooden stick. And playing those things was so enjoyable. It was so simple. I felt so easy and exciting. I don't know if I'm the only one. Everything felt so exciting. Even playing video games. Back, maybe when I was 10, when I was playing video games, they felt so much more exciting. Playing with my friends at Xbox 360, playing Minecraft together with 2 controllers with split screen. It was such a simple time. Such beautiful times. And when I compare it with a few years ago, the times then, they feel so dull, so boring, so meaningless, so hard. Back then, life felt so easy and enjoyable. And for most of adult life, it is so dull. It's like childhood was like a beautiful color filter, and now adulthood is gray filter, no emotion, everything is stale, no happiness. Or is it just for me? Because in the last few months, I make insane progress of experiencing more joy again, of experiencing this childhood curiosity and this easiness of life again. And today I will explain why our childhood was so special and easy, how adulthood can feel so dull and boring, and how we can kind of fix that. For me, and for many, when I talk to them about our childhood, it always seems that we have a kind of filter in front of our eyes. We have this nostalgic feeling. The same as when you look back 12 years ago, of course. For me, it was my childhood. We always, or for me especially, I remember the good times, the fun times. I don't remember the hardships, the times I struggled. I remember the good times. That's why I have these nostalgic feelings. And that's why when I look back at my childhood, the things all seemed so easy and so happy. A big part is because it was easy. Of course, we didn't have so much responsibility. Now, as an adult, we need to pay taxes. We need to go work at a job because we need to pay our bills. We need to buy food. We need to make our own laundry. We need to make our own food. As a child, we didn't had to do all of that. We could go to school, go home, and then there is food. We could give our clothes to your mom or your parents, and they would clean them. Life was easier, of course, but we also need to remember that our childhood wasn't all glamorous. We still had our moments of sadness, of anger, but only because now we can look back at it, it feels so nostalgic. And it feels, in comparison to most life, so much better. But there are 2 distinct things that I think that we also lost. It is our excitement. As a child, I always tried to learn new things. I ask why. Why is this? Why? Why is the grass green? Why is the sky blue? Why is this person unhappy? Why do whales swim in the ocean? Whatever. I was curious. And second, I went on adventure. I tried to explore things. I was discovering the world. And as we grow older, I think we kind of stopped doing that. That brings me to the second thing. For most adults, they live quite a boring life. From Monday to Friday, we work 9 to 5. It just was so boring. Same day every day. Wake up, being sleep deprived, going downstairs, making breakfast, then commuting to work, working there. And life felt so stale, so boring, because there was no excitement anymore. Then for others that I talk to, and for me especially, for sometimes life also felt meaningless. I don't know, in our childhood, back then, I don't know if I had more meaning, but I was more curious, and because of that, life felt more meaningful. And for most of my adulthood thus far, life just felt meaningless because I had no reason to strive. I had no reason to do things. Of course, I needed to work so I would survive, but it wasn't the same. And then, of course, life is hard. As a child, we are protected, or depending on how you grew up, you are more protected than when you are an adult. Life is unfair. Life is hard. That's a fact. Life isn't this fairy tale. Life is hard. That's a fact. And the last thing that makes us, or makes most adulthood so boring and feeling so stale comparison to our childhood, is life is dull. Because we don't explore. We aren't curious anymore. We aren't excited anymore. We don't ask why. And we lost that. And this makes us feel so dull. But I think in the last few months I made huge progress in my own life to stop that, to be more happy again, to make life feel more enjoyable again. And I will give you some examples on some ways I did that, and maybe you can do this too. A big thing that I established in the beginning of 2025 was exploration. Exploring new things. A simple thing that I did it because I saw it on YouTube, was adventure exercise. Adventure exercise gave me a new curiosity of the world. And what it means was just when I went running, I always ran the same route. When I went anywhere, I always went the same route. Commuting the same route. Everywhere. Walking, same route. So I started to change things up. When I went running, I went down a street I've never been before and just explored. In my city, I went to new location I've never been before. And with that, I gained a new excitement, a new curiosity. Life felt more exciting again because I found new things. I explored new things. I explored and went on small adventure in my own hometown because I went down streets and saw new things, saw new lakes, new ponds, saw beautiful things, saw a beautiful tree, saw an old house, saw a pond with little ducklings. And such moments bring back joy in our life and bring back more excitement in our life. Then I started to do more new habits. The thing is, before 2025, I was so fucking overstimulated. Short form content, binge watching YouTube, binge watching Netflix, watching anime, playing video games. I had a screen time so high and I did nothing. And then, no wonder life felt stale. As a childhood, I would do so many things. I would join a club of karate. I would join judo. I would go play tennis. I would go play hockey. I would go play volleyball. I would do so many things and explore my horizon. I went on to star in a musical. Why? Because I was curious. Did I like it? No, but I was just curious. And With our modern age and with our adulthood, and especially with overstimulation, with gaming, etc., we spend our time just indulging in overstimulation. And I stopped that, or I got rid of most of it. And then I had so much more new free time. After a day of work, I still had free time to do new things. After work, I could go and learn new things, train more, play a piano. And I filled my new time with things that bring me more joy and more excitement. I learned how to play the piano. I improved my body. I improved my health. I learned new things. I improved my relationship with my family. Right now, we have such a strong bond compared to a few years ago. Because I just spent that time more doing more new things. I went on to boulder halls. I went on to more hikes just to explore new things. I went on to hills I never been before and did habits I never did before, just because I was exciting and wanted to explore more. And this gave me such a happiness boost in life, a mental boost, and I felt so much more happy. Another thing I realized is I had no purpose, no meaning. So I found new meaning in life. I found a big goal, a big purpose in my life. Helping other people improve their mental health, because for a long time I had mental health problems and I fixed that. So I want to help other people so they have it easier, faster, and they don't need to go through the trials and tribulation as I did. So I found that purpose. I did this by being more bored and stop being overstimulating and then asking myself deep question, meaningful question, and then finding out purpose and then using trial and error to then finding purpose. And with that, life feels more exciting again because I have something to strive for. What I also did is, because I got rid of most of overstimulation, I could do more adventure in general. I could go on to a nice fancy restaurant or a nice restaurant with a friend, which I never did before. I could hang out more with friends. I could hang out more with family. I could go on more hikes, go on more adventure, go on more holidays, because I had more free time and because I didn't overstimulate myself with just using my time stupidly, with scrolling, with binge watching. I used my time more excitedly, doing more adventure. And the last big thing for me was, as a child, I loved going into nature, going to the woods and playing, or going to a lake, swimming, and just playing there with my friends was such an amazing experience. And I'm so grateful and thankful to have had such an amazing childhood to experience those things. So what I did now as an adult, I kind of replicated it with going more into nature, hanging out with friends into nature, going on a lake with my friends, and then we hang out there, going into the woods and exploring there, going just on a walk inside of the forest, and life with that just feel more exciting, more enjoyable. Of course, there are also studies that support this claim, that if you go into nature, that you have elevated mood, that it improves mental health and so on. But I experienced from first hand that it is so true. I don't know why, but when I go into nature and explore those things, or just enjoy beautiful sunrise, beautiful sunset, the birds or sea animals, this gives joy to our boring life that we so desperately need. On that note, I hope I could give you some insightful insights to be more happy, to enjoy life more. If you struggle with mental health problems, I can help you. If you click the first link in the description, you can have access to me for free. There I will help you to find out your specific root cause of your bad mental health, and then give you tangible advice to actually improve your mental health, so you have better mental health, and with that an overall better experience of life, because you aren't chained down with this bad mental health, of this feeling of anxious, of depression, of sadness, of overwhelmness with life. If this sounds interesting to you, then click the first link in the description, and there I will help you for free. No strings attached, no upsell, nothing. The reason, because I want to be an expert in mental health, and to be more specific, be an expert in helping other people improve their mental health. This is my big purpose in life. To do so, right now I need to gain as many experience as possible. And for this time being, I do this for free, with no strings attached. If this sounds interesting, then click the first link in the description. On that note, I wish you a wonderful day, take care, and then get after it.